Hello and welcome to the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brett Ferraro, and we have a great show for you today. The Eagle Valley Devils hosted a huge wrestling tournament on Saturday. We speak to the head coach of the Eagle Valley squad about what it's like to host such a large tournament, as well as a captain of the Battle Mountain squad to see how he felt about the competition. Then we speak to Sarah Will, a Paralympic skier that lives here in the Valley, talking all about her previous career and what she is up to now. But first, the Vail Nordic Center hosted their Moonlight Race on Friday. We were able to speak with the winner of that race, so let's take a listen to what he has to say. Hello everyone, we are here at the Vail Nordic Center where they just completed their Moonlight Race tonight on January 6th. I'm with the winner of the boys. Do you mind introducing yourself to the audience for us?
My name is Kyle Ross. I'm a senior at Battle Mountain. I've been doing this for 6 years now.
That's super exciting. So, been doing this for a long time. Were you skiing in middle school?
I was. It was not competitive though. It was only HPS Nordic, so no races or anything. It was more of a fun club.
Usually, a lot of Nordic skiers, especially for your home school at Battle Mountain, were cross-country skiers in the fall. Was that the case for you as well?
Yes, I did run cross-country. It was a great time. I had a great season. And yeah.
That's super cool. Doing it for 6 years, would you consider yourself a high-level endurance sport athlete?
I would a little bit. There's definitely some kids out there that are a lot better, but I'm hoping to make a good season for myself this year, and what a great way to open it.
For sure. What a great opening race, winning it all together. What do you think was your strongest part of the race tonight?
I definitely think the hills. That's where I passed a couple people. It was a very competitive start, a lot of people at the start, and getting out in the front was a wise idea.
No, it was a wild mass start. Skate mass starts are always sort of crazy. So it was definitely a fun race tonight under the darkness, maybe some moon if there wasn't so many clouds. It was a skate race tonight. Very exciting. Do you prefer skate over classic?
I do. It's a lot easier.
I always prefer it as well. It's also a lot faster, I find, so the races get finished quite a bit quicker. But what do you think you did over the past 6 years that has prepared you for this moment to win this race?
I definitely think that, last year I had a good season because lost a bunch of weight, which helped a lot. And then this last summer I trained with Josiah Middaugh, and that helped a ton too. And now here I am. So,
is there anyone in particular you want to thank for your win tonight?
I'd like to thank Josiah and Coach Apps too, and also I'd like to thank everyone else out there too.
First race of the season, very good start. What is the next race you're most looking forward to?
Probably Steamboat, because it's not a classic race this year, it's skate, so it'd be a great skate course.
Oh, for sure. A great showing tonight. We had multiple schools, VMS, Eagle Valley came, CRMS was here, but Battle Mountain High School took the win for the boys tonight. Thank you so much for speaking with me tonight,
Thank you.
Go Huskies. We had the pleasure of witnessing an amazing wrestling tournament hosted by Eagle Valley on Saturday. Now we are going to speak with a captain of the Battle Mountain squad and talk to him about how he felt about the tournament as well as how the point system works in wrestling. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
We are here for the Scoreboard with Tyson of the Battle Mountain wrestling team, currently at a tournament here at Eagle Valley High School. How are you doing so far today, Tyson?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had 2 pins in 2 matches. I got 2 more coming up. Gonna wrestle my butt off and see what happens at the end of the day.
So, in your 2 upcoming matches, who are you wrestling against? Do you know yet?
I'm wrestling against a kid from Eagle Valley that had beat me before, but I was not, I was kind of sick. I wasn't, myself. I wasn't ready to wrestle. I wasn't, and you could tell I wasn't really in the mood. I wasn't ready to go. And then the kid that I'm wrestling is from Coleridge. He's a pretty decent wrestler. I've watched him a couple times. I know what I need to do. And it's nice to have a lot of background knowledge with wrestling because I really do know what I need to do with different people.
Makes sense. Is there anything that you're particularly worried about coming up in these 2 matches?
My ankle's I sprained my ankle during practice a couple days ago. But, you know, I haven't really had any problems with it, but that's really my only concern I have, just making sure that nothing really bad happens to it so I can finish out the day.
Well, it certainly didn't seem like it caused you any problems in your first 2 matches there. I mean, your second match, you were able to get that pin so quick, I barely had a chance to catch any of it.
Yeah, 19 seconds. It's not what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to pin him right there. Wanted to get some more moves in, work on scoring a little bit more points, but whatever happens, you know, it happens, and I can't really go back in time to change that. You know, the kid got pinned.
So tell me a little bit about how that point system works, how you like develop points throughout the match.
So you have a normal takedown, which is 2 points, and then you have a reversal. So if you got taken down, and then all of a sudden you have control of the person, then that's 2 points for a reversal. Then if you, let's say the person has control of you and you stand up and you get away from them, that's 1 escape. And then you got different violations like locking hands, that's a violation. You know, potentially dangerous violation, you know, move you can't do, like you could hurt somebody with, you'll get a point given to the other person. You know, scoring points is like, it's not so big for me. I'm just here to, you know, I'm more of a timid, like slow, like I'll take it slow. I'll let you tie up first, and then I'll go to work off of your tie.
Totally makes sense. So then, is that sort of how the bracketing is then determined, how the points are developed throughout the match?
So the bracketing is developed by if you qualified for state last year, that's the #1 thing they look at. Then like your record, and you know, then they could look at like who you've beaten. Like if you've beaten a lot of people, but let's say like you've lost a couple matches, but everybody here you probably already beat, that'll give you probably the first seed. And you just got to keep working through that. Like Warrior Classic, really tough tournament for me. Went in there sick, and you know, I got put in the last seed of the tournament, but I don't think it was justified. You know, sucked. But I went out there and I gave it my best, and you know, wrestling sick isn't the best thing. And you know, whatever seed you get put in, you know, maybe you need to go cut the head off the dragon.
That totally makes sense to me. Sounds like a great attitude to go into the competition with. You've got your round 3 coming up right now, and how are you doing so far in the point system for this tournament?
I'm doing pretty good. I've got a couple pins, so that gives us good team points. Personally, I have the 2 pins, so like that really helps my morale. So like I'm getting through this. I'm feeling good. Like I feel like I'm the top dog here, and I know what I could do. So I just need to keep wrestling, being myself, you know. And whatever happens in the tournament. We just go to work and we go to wrestle.
Well, awesome, Tyson. Thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go back to your lunch break real quick, and best of luck in that round 3.
Thank you.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we're speaking with the head coach of the Eagle Valley Wrestling team, all about that great tournament they hosted on Saturday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the amazing wrestling tournament that Eagle Valley hosted on Saturday. Now, let's go and talk to the coach all about what it's like to host such a large event. Let's take a listen.
We are here in the Scoreboard with Coach Melvin Valdez of the Eagle Valley Wrestling team, both varsity and JV, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And you guys are hosting this huge tournament today. Could you tell me a little bit about your tournament?
Yeah, it's actually we got 5 mats, both 3 divisions, JV, varsity, and girls division going on at the same time. So we put it on every year since I've been here, and probably the last, I would say, 30-some years. We added a girls division this year.
So 5 mats, I see 3 physical mats, correct?
Yes, and there's 2 mats in the auxiliary gym.
Oh, okay, awesome. So that tournament has been going on as well, just right across the hallway?
The JV side of the tournament, yep. And we both had 78 competitors in JV and also varsity this year.
Wow, that's quite a lot of competitors. And how many different schools are involved?
17 different schools.
So between 17 different schools, 78 competitors?
Yes.
And so what are some of the difficulties in organizing and scheduling so many different schools, so many different athletes?
Yeah, the difficulty about, you know, setting up a big tournament here is just setting up for sure, but the logistics of everything is pretty tight. I mean, you got to have everything inputted from all the coaches, so it's a big team effort between all the teams, plus the tournament director, which is Kylan, getting everything set up, and we set this up a couple weeks before ahead of time. That way we don't run into any glitches.
Makes sense. That didn't quite help you today, though, did it? You ran into a little bit of a glitch earlier?
Yes, we ran in, around the nation, everyone uses track wrestling, which is pretty common for everything, and when everybody's logged onto that around the nation, things will happen, and it went down for about an hour, so we're back up again, so hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed and keep it up.
And what do you guys use the track wrestling program for? Is it to keep track of the bracketing or the points?
It goes from keeping track of wins, losses, takedowns, everything, stats for the kids. Plus, it runs every tournament in the nation. That's the kind of the new deal. It's live scoring, so you don't have to put it in after the fact, and it saves a lot of time. It's kind of the new thing that's going on. It's been happening for about probably 15 years now, and they still got glitches.
I mean, technology has always been the problem, isn't it? So with this new system, then, is it sort of helping to organize wrestling both within the high school programs and then just nationwide?
Yes, it's big on the high school, but it's also D1, D2, NIA. It's all, everyone uses it. So if you go on to track wrestling, you can pull any event up worldwide and actually watch it live, not streaming live, but the scoring live. And some places you could watch streaming at the same time. So it's basically the heart of wrestling for sure.
Wow, that's really incredible. So is that sort of the system that colleges would use to evaluate the high school athletes potentially for D1, D3 scholarships?
That's exactly what they'll do. They have a big tournament called I can't remember, 32 Super 32s, and me talking to some college coaches for my wrestlers in the past, they follow along that way. That way they don't have to show up and watch kids wrestling at the competitions. They actually watch it live there and see, how they're doing, how they score, and, stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty big about recruiting for sure.
Do you have any athletes on your team right now that are hoping to get recruited?
Not as of right now. I've got two seniors. One senior is going to be not wrestling in college, but doing track in college. Another senior is just not sure yet. He just started this year, so he actually is involved in boxing when he come from Texas. So not right now. We're looking probably in about 2 years we're going to have a big presence of who wants to continue to the next level.
Well, that's fantastic. Do you find that athlete who's come from boxing has a lot of skills that have transitioned over to his beginning wrestling career?
Actually, really good footwork, really coachable, and just picks everything up. And I don't know if it's a maturity thing or if it's just an athlete kind of deal, an athletic thing. But yeah, that senior has picked it up really quick, got real good feet movement and aggression.
Well, that's perfect for a wrestler, isn't it?
Yes, that's what we need.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back to your athletes as the round's starting up again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Recently, the legendary Paralympic ski racer Sarah Will came into the TV8 studio and talked to our wonderful Maddie Evans. They had a great interview, so why don't we show that to you right now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Now that ski season is upon us, it's always exciting to talk about some of the incredible athletes that we have here in the community. And so we've got a total Wonder Woman of Paralympic skiing joining me first thing this morning. Sarah Will. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. You have quite the impressive ski career. As we were talking on the phone and I was looking at all of the medals you've won, you have 12 medals under your belt.
It was a good run. 4 Paralympic Games, a lot of gold medals, and I learned so much from each and every game and try to bring the lessons that I learned from other countries back into my own life and back into my community. And sometimes that's difficult when to keep on following the herd, and sometimes I feel like I'm following the herd right off the cliff. So the things that I learned in other countries, like bringing your own hand towels, so you always have it in your purse, and you never take anything home. There's no waste.
Right.
And in Lillehammer, Norway, they took all of the athletes' housing and they shipped them in. They were mobile homes so that they could be shipped back out after the games, which was incredible. They could use them for student housing or for our aging communities, for retirement homes. And they left the places exactly the way they were before the games. Everything, all the signage was made out of cardboard and biodegradable within a couple of months.
Which is something that you don't think about having a big, huge impact, but it would have such a large impact. Now, I was very young when the 2002 Salt Lake Games happened, but I lived in Salt Lake at the time, and it brought that city to life in a way that I have never experienced again. And so that was kind of the last big competition with the Paralympics that you were part of. So let's talk a little bit just about your career in skiing and how you found the motivation to push through and then just become this whirlwind of a skier.
It started when I had a ski accident in 1988, and I knew how to ski. I was a ski racer growing up, so I could still feel what a ski felt like. So a ski is a ski.
Right.
And at the time, it was early on in our sport, and we were just trying to feel out of our equipment. And once you felt a ski really arc, it was incredible. You could be on any mountain, any hill, travel the world. The opportunities were endless.
Which is so incredible, and it's so incredible to hear that, because skiing is something that has been in my family for so long, and my dad always drives that home. He's like, if you can feel that ski, you can know where you're lining that ski up, then you can make it down any part of the mountain. And so to hear your aspect of having it before and then continuing after the accident and knowing that you could trust that ski, you could put that faith in that ski to make that arc and then take it and create this entire career out of it is amazing.
It's remarkable, and everything that I do, I could never have done by myself. I mean, this is skiing, you're already just voluntarily disabling yourself as soon as you put on ski gear, and your family. And for a disabled, for an adaptive skier, we have so much equipment, and it weighs a lot. So from the time I get to my car, the people surrounding me in this community are so helpful with getting my equipment from point A to point B, or helping me into my car. I drive a truck, and as I get older, it's certainly more difficult. So even when I go to the supermarket, the key to my independence is knowing how to ask for help. And that is always a difficult thing for everybody to do, because they don't feel that that's necessary or that they should handle things by themselves. And it's because of the people around me who know more than me that enable me to do more with my own life.
Which I think is so cool, and it's so cool that you're here in our community and you're a huge advocate, and so you do this really incredible consulting here. And so let's talk a little bit about it, because it makes a difference for everyone.
It makes a huge difference. We live in a mountain community in a valley. Parking is at a premium. And ADA parking it was popular in the 1990s when it first came out, but we seem to be losing a little bit of our enthusiasm, but not for, this isn't, the ADA is a law, and it's very easy to follow. Even putting down your parking space for your business is not just putting down the blue symbol in the middle, it's making sure that there's an aisle that's around it so that somebody with a mobility aid could get out and have the room. Otherwise, we're going to take up 2 spaces.
Right. Which makes it challenging. And so this is something that, especially in a mountain town where we see people rushing to get to the mountain, rushing to get to first chair, maybe they're not paying attention as they're pulling into that spot next to the ADA spot. And it's important that you leave that room. And so that's what you do in your career as you consult. And so this is something that not only you have started, but you've taken with you and you've made a difference.
It was it wasn't easy to be the squeaky wheel when you're the well-liked ski racer in the community. So it was quite the transition. But I was on the 10th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act as a sponsored athlete, and I had the opportunity to go to 3 different states, and I ended up in Washington, D.C. with sitting next to somebody in a power chair who was a lawmaker, and they said to me, so it's great to see you on all these ads and on TV, and so what do you do for the cause? And I really didn't have much to say.
Right.
And it shocked me. And when I got back to my own community and the Bridge Street project started, there was an issue with the cobblestones. They were very rough cut. So somebody else laid down a smooth path for me, and it was really important that we lay down a smooth path in a new building project. And if you notice in the middle of Bridge Street, it used to be a drainage ditch about this wide. Now we widened it and we flipped the stones upside down so that they're smooth on the other side. That's why you see people never want to get off that path.
Right.
And I petitioned in the 4th of July parade saying, this is for our returning veterans, for our aging generations, for our Ferragamo shoes, for people with disabilities.
Right.
So that it affects everybody. And you align yourself with the delivery truck drivers who may be spending more time and money each time they deliver because it's a rough street. More time is more money for us. So to come up with building projects that are universally accessible for everybody makes just good business sense, and it works for everybody.
It does work for everybody. Now, you've had this incredible career in skiing, and you have made it really a big part of your life. So if there are any people at home that are watching who may have disabilities, who would like to get out there and enjoy the snow the same way you have, what piece of advice would you give them?
To keep pushing through and find those organizations that, like Small Champions, they've been around in the Valley forever, for as long as I can remember, and they serve children with disabilities. I don't want to say disabilities. I used to be on the disabled ski team, and now it's the abilities. So all sorts of young people with different abilities. There's horseback riding, skiing, and they can work directly with the Vail Adaptive Ski Program, who does a great job, not only outreach to the community, but now we are back to training our lift operators, and we're just so grateful because we're all one unit between the lift operators and the people who are on the mountain. They're experts in their field. They actually wrote the National Forest Service book on how to accommodate people with disabilities. So much started in this valley, and you just have to look up the nonprofit that would serve your children and your people the best.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming in, giving us all this great information, and congratulations on the career you have built. And honestly, I think that you are a total, like, Wonder Woman.
Thank you. Thank you, Stan.
Make sure that you check out the nonprofits here in our community because they're so incredible. And if you see Sarah around, make sure that you stop and say hi because she is absolutely an amazing human being.
That's all the time that we have for this episode of the Scoreboard. If you have any story ideas, please email us at scoreboard@tv8vail.com. And as always, if you missed any of our recent episodes, you can find them at thescoreboardnation.com. I've been your host, Brett Farrell, and I can't wait to see you all next time.